Hey guys, welcome to the next session of a JDBC course for absolute beginners. Till the last session we discussed on insert and select operation. So we created these two options like inserting the record and selecting the record, and we see everything like how we can select the record by using the hard coded values. Then we seen how we can use the dynamic values, and then we seen how we can take the user input and how we can retrieve the value depending upon the user input. Similar thing we did for this insert operation. So let me quickly run this code and let's see what we built till now. So let me click on this run button and let's see what happens. So now over here on the console I am able to see the two options like insert. So let me insert the name, that is, let's suppose for example Harsh, then percentage, let's suppose 78, address, let's suppose Delhi again, and record inserted successfully. So let me just go to my MySQL command line client and let me see whether the record is inserted or not. If you are using any interface like SQL Yug, then that's good. I'm using my command line, so that's why I need to type the commands. So first of all I need to use my database, that is JDBC DB, which is my database name. In that we have the table that is student. So let me select star from student. So whatever record we have inserted right now, it is present into this table, and this roll number is automatically generated by this MySQL because this roll number is primary key and which is automatically generated. So this is an auto increment column, so we don't need to worry about this one. And now let's try to execute the select operation. So over here let me rerun the code and let me select this option 2 and let me give the roll number 8, and now roll number 8 is retrieved. So over here whenever we want to perform some repeated operation we need to rerun this code every time, but at the end of this course we will see the logic how we can add this switch case in a loop so that we can perform all the tasks repeatedly, because whenever we run this code it will allow to perform only one operation, because after only performing the one operation it will break. So that's why we need to add some logic, but as of now I'm not going to tell you how we can add that logic because this is how the very basic sessions, and I just want to keep these all the basics. Today in the sessions we are going to see how we can use the callable statement. So again what we will do, we will just add one more line over here, that is system.out.println, and over here I am going to show you how we can create the stored procedure and how we can call that particular stored procedure. Again I do not want to make these session as a stored procedure specific, so I'm not going to tell you in detail about the stored procedure, but yes, definitely I will tell you how we can create the stored procedure and how we can use the stored procedure and how we can pass the parameters to the stored procedure. But let me just give one more option, that is the third option, and the third option will be like selecting the record again, but this time we will select all records and all the records by the stored procedure. So let me use, first of all let me give the callable statement as an line, because we have already created this select record operation. So to differentiate between above, second and the third, I'm just giving the callable statement because we are going to call the stored procedure with the help of callable statement. And then let me give the caption like let's suppose select a record again. And again we just need to create one more method. We have already two methods like insert record and select record. We just need to create one more method which is select all records. So let me add one more method, that is public void and then get or select all records. So this is my method name, and this method will not take any parameter. So instead of this public, let me make it as private and let me save this one. So now whenever user will enter option 3, I just need to call this newly created method. So in this switch case we just need to add one more case. So let me add case 3 and whenever case 3 will happen, I just need to call student database dot select all records. So this is my method name, and then I just need to add break keyword like this. So student database we have already created over here. This line is created the student database object. If you don't know and if you haven't created this, you can create this one. Otherwise, if you are following my sessions, then if you, of course, you have created this already. So now the case switch case is done and the method is created. Just to test this out method, I just need to give system.out.println and I am in my method. So this is just a demo message that I am just taking. I just want to ensure whether switch case is working perfectly fine or not. And now on the console we are able to see this third option. So let me give the 3, and now we are able to see that I am in my method. So that means our method is getting called successfully. So now inside this method we need to add the logic to call the stored procedure. But before calling the stored procedure, we must have to create the stored procedure. So that's the main thing. So again, let me go back to my MySQL client, and over here I just need to type some command to create the stored procedure. If you are using MySQL Yoke or something, MySQL Workbench, if you are using some interface to deal with the MySQL database, then you may find direct option to create the stored procedure. You can create in that way. Otherwise, you can type these commands from that interface. So let me add few commands over here. So first thing that we need to do is to change the delimiter. So delimiter, I'll just explain what is this and why we need to change this one. But as of now, let's type the code, change the delimiter at the @ Then over here we just need to type drop procedure if exist. So we want if the procedure is exist, then we need to drop the existing one, and then we just need to give the procedure name. So my procedure name will be the get underscore all. So if you want, you can give any name over here. Then let me give the @ and query is okay. Now the procedure is dropped. If it is exist, then we need to create the new procedure. So how we can create this? We just need to type create procedure, then procedure name. My procedure name will be get underscore all. Then we just need to give these brackets, and then we just need to type begin to indicate beginning of the procedure. Then we just need to type the SQL command that we want to perform when this particular procedure will get called. So I want to perform the SQL command like select star from student. So student is my table name. If you have any different name, you need to give that particular name over here. And then we just need to give this semicolon to indicate end of this select statement. Then we need to write the end to indicate end of this procedure, and then we just need to give this @ which is my delimiter, and then query is okay, and these 0 rows are affected. Now we are able to create this stored procedure. So over here we change these delimiter. So delimiter is basically we need to change. So this is why, because inside this begin and end keyword we write multiple statements, like we write select, we like insert, we can write delete. So we can write group of statement, and in that group of statement, to end each and every statement we use semicolon. So again, if we use semicolon directly, this may consider like this, MySQL will consider like this is the end of this procedure and this is the end of this procedure statement. So it will try to end this procedure. But what we want that we want this procedure to be ended only after this end keyword, or only after these whole statements are executed. Then only we want to end this procedure. But if we give this semicolon directly, it will end as soon as we hit the semicolon. So that's why, to differentiate between the semicolon and some delimiter, we just need to change the delimiter. We just need to write and perform our action like creating the procedure, and at the end we just need to change that delimiter back to our semicolon. So I hope you got these things. If you are pretty beginner to this, you may not find this helpful. Otherwise, if you have some basic knowledge over this MySQL and all, you may definitely get this idea. So now the procedure is created and everything is done. And if you want to check whether the procedure is created or not, we have just one command like show procedure status. So this is the command that we need to type, and at the end we just need to give the semicolon, and show procedure status will give us all the procedures which are present. So over here we are able to find this get all procedure, and which is type of procedure. And again I am using the MySQL command line, that's why the output is not in the correct format, or the design is not over here. But if you are using the some interfaces, you will get some beautiful designs around it. So now these things are done and procedure is created. Now we just need to go back to Eclipse, and we just need to write some logic to call that particular procedure. So over here we have some steps that we need to follow. So first of all, we need to load and register the driver, then we just need to create the connection, then we need to create the platform, then we need to execute the query, then we need to process the result set, and then we need to close the connection. Among that steps, we have already loaded and registered the driver, then we have implemented the connection in the couple of sessions back. So this is we have already done. If you don't know, you must have to create this, otherwise you will not be able to communicate with the database. And if you don't know, you can check out my previous sessions, the link is in the description box. Now these are all the JDBC specific steps that we need to follow. Among that, the two we have already done. Now we just need to create the platform. So over here, whenever we need to talk to any stored procedure, we have one statement, or we have one platform to use, that is called as a callable statement. So we can use that one. So we just need to write connection, which is my connection reference. So connection dot prepare call. Inside the brackets we just need to give one string. So that string will contain the name of my stored procedure. So we just need to give these two curly brackets. Inside the brackets we just need to give name of my stored procedure, that is get hyphen or underscore. Also this is my stored procedure name. We just need to give the curly brackets, we just need to give this get all, and then we just need to give this opening and closing brackets like this. Now this line is giving me some error that we need to look. So the error is like we just need to handle some SQL exception. So I'll just throw those SQL exception like this, because I have handled my SQL exception or any type of exception in the main method itself. Like over here we have used this try catch over here, and this main method is capable of handling the exception. This SQL exception comes from java.sql, so make sure you are importing this SQL exception from java.sql itself. Now exception is thrown and everything is done, and we called this prepare call. This prepare call will return me the reference for callable statement interface. So let me store that reference like callable statement, and this callable statement is again an interface which comes from java.sql package. So make sure you are importing the correct one, because over here we may find some similar options or exact same options over here. So we just need to import the java.sql interface callable statement, and my reference name will be the callable statement itself like this. Now we have stored this reference into this callable statement, and now we can perform the operation. So how we can perform the operation? So we just need to call or execute this operation. So how we can do this? We just need to write callable statement, which is my this reference, then execute query like this, and this execute query will return me the result set. Now we have multiple options, like whenever we have operation like select and all, we can go for execute query. We have, whenever we have some operations like insert and update, we can go for execute update in that way. And if we have combinations, like we have select operation, we have insert operation, we have update operation, we have delete operation, we have such, if we have such a kind of combinations, we can definitely go for a dot execute method like this. So but as of now I have just select operation, so I'll just go for execute query, and that execute query will return me the result set. So I'll just store that result set into the result set reference. So result set again comes from java.sql package, and the name of my reference will be the result set, or result is equals to, so name of my reference is result. And now we just need to iterate that result. So how we can do that? In the last session itself we talked about the result set and what is the next method, everything. If you know the basics, you can definitely continue with this. Otherwise, if you want to know the basics, you can check out my previous session. Otherwise, anyhow, after executing this code, you will get an output. So inside the while loop, we just need to write result dot next. Like if we have the results, then only iterate over the loop. And inside the brackets, we just need to specify the logic to print the results. So I'll just print in a simple way, like name or roll number is, and then we just need to use result dot get int. So this result set provides different methods like get int, get string, get double. So we have different kind of methods, and depending upon our data type of the result, we can use that method. So in this case, the first value that I'm going to retrieve is this roll number, and this roll number is of type integer. So that's why I'm using get int. Then for the name, I just need to use get string. For percentage, I just need to use get double. For address, again I just need to use get string. And then inside these get string or get int, we just need to pass the column name. So my column name is roll underscore number. So this is my column name in which my roll number is stored. So make sure you are giving the correct name. Any kind of spelling mistake will lead you the error. Now let me give name is, then result dot get string, and then my column name is name. So I'll just give my column name, and again my third column is percentage. So let me give the message like percentage is result dot get double, and my column name is percentage itself. And then at the end, we just need to use address is result dot get string again, and my column name is address, like this. So let me save this code, and now we have done all the basic things. So let me save this code and let me try to run this code. So let me click on this run button, and let me select the third option, and let's see what happens. And now over here we got some exception. So what exception that we got? We just got that exception. Let me check it out. So over here we created this connection and prepared the call and everything. Yeah, so over here in these two curly brackets, I missed one keyword. So we just need to write curly brackets, then we just need to call. This is then keyword that we need to write, that is call. And then we can give the stored procedure name with this leading these curly bracket or these simple brackets. So let me save this one now, and let me run this code again, and now let's see what happens. And on the console, let me give the option 3, and now we are able to see all the records like roll number 5, then we are able to see the roll number 6 records, 7 and 8. So we are able to see the 4 records. If you want to separate out these records, you can just give this system.out.println, and you can just give simple a line in between these, and the records will be separated. So this is how we can call these stored procedure in a JDBC. Now over here in this stored procedure, we haven't used any parameters. So if you want to use the parameters, then also we can call those parameters. So for that, let me go back to my MySQL client, and over here I just need to create one more procedure with where we are going to use some parameters. So how we can do this? I just need to create one more procedure. So let me create one more procedure. Like again, we just need to change the delimiter. So let me use delimiter is @, then let me create procedure, and as of now I'm not dropping the procedure because I know I don't have any procedure already exists with this name, so I'm not going to drop the procedure. I'll just create procedure, and procedure name will be get record, and this get record will accept one parameter. So as we are going to give some value to this get record stored procedure, we just need to use, for example, let's suppose roll underscore no, which represents roll number in. So in is a keyword which will represent, like, this is the input value. So we have multiple keywords like in, then out, and in out. So we have these kind of keywords which are specific to the stored procedure, but again this session is not specific to the stored procedure, so I'm not going to explain those keywords, but definitely I'll just tell you some hints. Whenever we have the situation we want to give some data to the stored procedure, we use in keyword. Whenever we want some data from the stored procedure, for example, let's suppose if we have operations like insert, then delete, and then update, like we have combinations of operations, and inside the stored procedure we have one variable, and if we want to return that variable value, then we can use out, and we can specify over here. And if we want to give input and output at the same time, we can use in out keyword over here. And this roll number is of type let's suppose for example int. So I'll just give int like this, and then we just need to close the bracket, and then we just need to begin, and then select star from student, which is my table name, where roll number is equals to roll number which is entered by this user, or which is given as a parameter to this stored procedure, like this. Then we just need to give the semicolon, then we just need to end, and then we just need to give the delimiter, and again we got some exception or error over here. So this is why, due to I just done some mistake over here. So we need to write, instead of this roll number in, instead of that we just need to write in and then roll number. So let me just update this one quickly. So let me use create procedure, and then let me use in, that is in roll no, then space integer, then let me give the begin, then select star from student, where roll number is equals to roll underscore no. Then we just need to give end, and then we just need to give this delimiter, and now the query is generated successfully. So now the procedure is generated successfully, and we can pass the parameter over here. So let me go back to this one, and again let me create one more method so that you will get the difference between how we can send the parameters and how we can call the stored procedure without any parameters. So let me call this let me copy this private void select or record. You can just copy this, or you can modify the existing one, and instead of this select all record, I'll just give select records by roll number. So this is my method name, and then inside this, instead of this call get all, we just need to give get and whatever the procedure I created. So I created the procedure with the name as get record. So let me call the get record over here like this, inside the brackets we just need to give the question mark. So over here the get record store procedure will take roll number as a parameter. So this is the one value. So for that roll number I just need to give the dynamic values, because I do not want to keep this value fixed. I want to make some dynamic values inside these. So I just need to give these question mark over here. So if we have two values to send, we need to give two question marks. So whatever number of values we need to send, we just need to give that number of question marks into these brackets, and then we just need to set the parameter. So how we can set? We just need to write callable statement, which is my reference dot set, then set int, because I want to set integer values. Again we have different kind of methods like set int, set string, set double, like that. And then the parameter, so I just need to give first parameter. So over here this first means the number of question marks. So for example this is the first question mark and I am going to set the value for the first question mark. If we have multiple, like let's suppose if we have 5 question marks into this bracket, then we just need to give in sequential manner, like this is the value for the first question mark, this is the value for the second question mark. So in that way we just need to give values in some sequence. And what integer value I want to give is, let's suppose 5. So as of now I will just hard code the value. In a moment we are going to change this one. Now let me save this, and let me just add some code into this switch case as well, because we need to call the new method as well. So let me copy this system.out.println, and as an option 4 I will just give callable statement select record by roll number. So I'll just give this text over here so that user will get to know, yeah, we just need to call the test by call the record by the roll number. So we just need to add case 4 student database dot select record by roll number, like this. So now let me save this, and then we just need to add the break as well. So don't need to add this break keyword as well. So now we just need to save this, and let me run this code, and now let's see what happens when I try to retrieve all the values. So let me give the 4, and 4 is an option, and roll number is 5, name is Raj, 85.5 Mumbai. So we are getting all the values correctly. So over here on the 5th roll we have Raj and address is Mumbai. So we are getting everything correctly. The only thing that we left is to change this hard coded value. So over here again we are going to use the scanner, and we are going to take value from the user, and we have already configured this scanner and all in my first insert operation itself. If you know, you can definitely write this scanner and all, otherwise you may need to check out my previous sessions. And then let me give the message for the user at the first, like enter roll number to fetch details, like this. And whatever roll number user will enter, I will just store it into let's suppose into one variable. For example, int roll, like this, is equals to integer dot parse int, and inside the brackets we just need to give the scanner, which is my reference. So let me give the object name. So this is the scanner which we have already created, and this is my scanner name. So let me give this one, and inside this, on the scanner, we just need to write next line. So this is the method that we need to call. So just keep in mind this line should be like this, because over here we have multiple brackets and all, so that we can perform anything wrong over here. So make sure you are giving everything in correct manner, and whatever user will enter will get stored into this role variable, and that role variable we will pass as a parameter to my my stored procedure. So let me save this code, and now let me see what happens on the console, and let me give the fourth option, and it is asking me for the roll number. So let me give the 8, and it is giving me the record for the 8. So on the 8 we have Harsh that is stored. So let me go back, and over here on the 8 we have Harsh, that is stored on the 8th roll number. So now this is how we can perform these we can perform the operations on stored procedure and all. So I hope you got a basic idea around this one, and I hope you got how we can call the stored procedure and how we can use this callable statement, how we can call the parameters to the stored procedure, and how we can access the result set of the stored procedure. So I tried my best to explain each and everything. If you like this, let me know in the comment section. If you have any questions, then let me know in the comment section. I will try my best to reply all those questions. So I hope you got an idea around this one, and till now we have completed all these insert, select and callable statement operations. In the upcoming sessions we will see the update operation and delete operation as well, and some of the other concepts of JDBC related. If you want to check out the whole course, the link is in the description box. So I hope you enjoyed this session, and we'll see you in the next session.